What has Lincoln been up to in these years that have passed?
A lot of trouble. Lincoln's that kind of guy that can't keep out of trouble. He tries to go straight for a while, and it was working, and then it just kind of fell off the wheels, and he started hitting the streets again, and started pushing things from A to B, and gets himself in debt and all that kind of stuff.
How does it feel for you to be back to Prison Break on both professional and personal level?
It's for me. It's brilliant. I mean, I love Prison Break. I'm indebted to the show. It's a very special part of my life, and formed great friendships. I know a lot of actors say that, but this is actually true. A lot of these guys are my friends, and especially Wentworth. And it was interesting coming back to see how we had all matured in the last kind of 8 years. And I think because of that, our choices as actors have changed as well. So I think you'll notice a different tone to our performances somewhat, and I think that has just a lot to do with maturity and life experience.
How much did you all keep in touch?
Well, Wentworth and I were always in touch via email. We kept bumping into each other here and there with guys. Again, we're all friends, and we're just friends.
So what do you think that now was the right moment to come back with Prison Break?
Why did we think that? Well, Wentworth and I were working on Flash together, and we just started talking about Prison Break, the good old days kind of thing, and then we started thinking, why don't we try to bring it back? I mean, it's been a long time, and so Wentworth and I approached the studio and met with them, and they loved the idea and jumped on board, and we had to get Paul Schering involved. He got involved, and once he got involved, that was it. I mean, the show couldn't have happened without Paul. So he was the final piece of the puzzle.
How does your workout routine now? It seems every time you have to be in shape. How do you maintain your always being optimal shape and not get bored of it?
No, bored, yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, I've branded myself to a certain degree, but also it helps me. In a way, it's a release. I'm a surfer, and I work nowhere near a beach, so it's just one of my ways of just keeping it together. It's also, again, it's part of my job, to be honest with you. I'm not obsessive about it by any means. I mean, I just do what I do, for sure.
And if you get cast as a fat guy, you go, hey, did you do it?
I got cast as a fat guy on Killer Elite with De Niro and Clive Owen and Jason Statham, and they said you're playing a guy who just drinks and eats and he gets fat. So fucking awesome. So I spent literally 6-7 weeks eating everything from burgers to milkshakes to donuts. I mean, you name it. And it took about 6 weeks for it to start. I started noticing I was getting fat. It's like, oh, this is really weird. But the interesting thing about that, people go on about how eating like that depresses you. Bullshit. I was in heaven, man. I love waking up in the morning, not thinking about what I have to eat. I'll just have that, I'll have that, I'll have this. It's great.
So you and Wentworth obviously worked together on The Flash and Legends, but how is it getting back to Michael and Lincoln and playing that?
It was emotional. It was a bit kind of freaky at first, but again, because we know each other so well, it was just boom, straight into it. The rhythms were right there. It wasn't awkward.
What do you hope for the event series to do for the legacy of the show?
Well, I think Prison Break was one of the shows that set a bar when it first came out, and hopefully the reboot will set another bar. And I think it will. I think people are going to be very blown away by the fact that we've made this show and it looks like it's just on par. I've seen the first 2 episodes. It's on par with anything Jason Bourne would do, or zero dark, 30. Those kind of, the Middle Eastern kind of thing, that vibe, there's no difference. So it's just incredible storytelling.
I feel like you guys are allowed to do a little bit more now. So, I mean, it was a slightly different era of television when you guys first came on. You could push boundaries a little bit more on television now. You guys are
Yeah, I mean,
set the bar higher.
well, you know, we're dealing with ISIS. So with ISIS and ISIL comes devastation, tragedy, death. There's a scene in Prison Break where people are hanging from light bar, just out in the street, hanging from wherever. I mean, it's heavy. It's heavy. I mean, as an actor, I don't really get emotional when I'm acting because I know it's acting, it's make-believe. But there was one scene that really had me very upset, and that's never happened to me before. I was in a car and we were going through the street in Morocco, and a terrorist explosion happened. So we had all these extras, and the people who lived there in Gaza, who were off the Middle East, who were obviously very aware and familiar with. And these people, these were extras, and they were all screaming and crying like real shit coming out. And they had the bodies everywhere, and the white and the red blankets over them, and I was moved, man. It didn't feel like performance. It felt like these people, these normal people, were channeling what the whole Middle East is about. Well, not the whole Middle East, you know what I'm saying? It just felt really real and intense.
Nice guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.